Hello everyone, welcome back to GreatMovieFan's YouTube channel. I'm Luke and today I'm bringing you my review for Disney's live-action remake of The Jungle Book. Now before we get started, first things first. I have officially decided how my movie reviews are going to be structured in terms of the platform. So, for the first part of my reviews from here on forward, I'm going to talk about my overall thoughts and opinions on the movie, why you, the viewer, should or should not see this movie, and basic, small, spoiler-free elements regarding the cast or the production design or what really worked about this movie and what was good about it and why you should see it or why you shouldn't see it. Then, for the second half of the video, it will be spoiler material. So if you have seen the movie, you can watch the review all the way forward from start to finish. If you have not seen the movie, then watch the first half, and it's either your choice. You can either watch it all the way through and be spoiled, or you can stop the video, go see the movie, and come back and hear the rest of my thoughts and opinions on it. So, my overall opinion on The Jungle Book. If I had to give it a grade scale rating, I would give it a B+. I thought it was extremely entertaining. I was fully immersed in this beautiful Indian jungle setting that Jon Favreau so beautifully created on film for us. The reason why I don't give it an A is because I already knew going into this movie that this was completely shot on a soundstage in Hollywood with green screens. So none of the jungle sequences are real. Everything is CGI'd, everything is animated, with the exception, of course, of Neil Setti, who plays Mowgli, and the few human characters that are used as background people later in the movie. But everybody else, all of the voice cast, it's not motion capture like Andy Serkis does with King Kong and what he's also, and Star Wars, and what he's doing with Jungle Book Origins, which is coming out next year. Disney has done full CGI'd animals with people in sound booths pre-recording all their dialogue. So going into the movie, knowing that this was all fake, kind of took me out of the movie just a little bit. But when I was actually watching it, there were only a couple of moments where you could tell, oh, I can see that. I can see the obvious computer-ness about that movement or the way that that character moves. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought the voice cast, with the exception of one performer, which I will get to later in this review, I thought with the exception of one person, the entire cast, top to bottom, was phenomenal. And like I said, the production design is beautiful. It's absolutely splendid. And if you are a Disney fan, if you are a fan of the current live-action fairy tales that Disney has been producing for the last 6 years, I seriously do think that Disney is in their second, or actually technically this would be their third renaissance, because they had the Disney Renaissance in the 80s and 90s, and then the second renaissance with their new animation, everything from Wreck-It Ralph forward, with Tangled and Big Hero 6 and Frozen and Zootopia. And now, I seriously do think that this is a new renaissance, the live-action Disney fairy tale renaissance. And those movies would include Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, Oz the Great and Powerful, Maleficent, Into the Woods, Cinderella. This year, obviously, The Jungle Book, Pete's Dragon, the BFG, and then next year we're getting Beauty and the Beast. And if you are a fan of these live-action fairy tales, you should definitely see The Jungle Book, because it's so gorgeous. And we'll get to this in the spoiler section, it is a different story than the classic animated film. Or scratch that. It's the same story, but there's more added to it. There's more grittiness, there's more realness, there's more substance, and the movie does end differently than the animated film. Okay. From this point forward, I'm going to talk about the merits of the cast and the plot involving all these characters. So if you have not seen the movie and you wish to remain unspoiled, thank you so much for watching. Please go see The Jungle Book and come back when you are ready. If you have seen it or don't mind being spoiled, then here we go. Let's move forward from this point. I have my notes here. All right. So the first person I have to talk about is Neil Setti, who plays Mowgli and is the only real human character that we interact with in this film. And he was so good. He really, really was. He did such a phenomenal job, especially making you believe that these characters were real. The animals that he's interacting with, which are completely fake, and he's acting basically alongside puppets and tennis balls on sticks. I saw a little behind-the-scenes video about how this movie was made and everything, and it's very he plays it very convincingly, and I just really loved his character so much because he has this lovable, likable quality about him, and also, even though he is supposed to be 9-10 years old, basically, he's a very strong character. I mean, he's the type of person that sticks to his guns and doesn't want to give up and doesn't want to have people tell him what to do with his life. He doesn't want to leave the jungle. He doesn't. And yet, when all of this bad stuff starts happening with, unfortunately, the death of the alpha male in the wolf pack, who's basically his adoptive father, when Bagheera brings him to the wolf pack, and when he dies, and when Shere Khan is an actual threat to him, Mowgli doesn't back down. Mowgli's not scared, and that's so refreshing that this child is so on his feet and so intelligent with everything. And it's very funny. The animals, especially his father, the wolf, played by I'm gonna butcher this name, Giancarlo Esposito. I'm so sorry, but I remember him from Once Upon a Time. He plays the magic mirror for the evil queen in Snow White, and he plays Akela, who is the wolf, the alpha male wolf. And Bagheera also, they don't like it when Mowgli uses his inventions. They call it tricks in the movie, but it's like he has this thing where he uses with like a hollowed out shell with strings to like get water, and then he helps Baloo with this gizmo that he built so he can like bounce off of a cliff to get honey for him and everything. And also how he uses it to eventually outwit Shere Khan in the final climactic scene of the movie. And he's so smart, and I love that about his character, that he wasn't dopey, he wasn't goofy, he was really intelligent. And it was so refreshing to have this child actor just front and center in this movie, and you're completely on board with it. And sometimes you forget that he's a child actor because he is so fantastic. Okay, next up, my personal favorite animated character in the movie was Ben Kingsley as Bagheera. I thought he was fantastic. His accent, his British accent, is perfect for this role. Everybody in this movie has different accents, and it's a very diverse cast. Obviously, and not physically seen on screen, but in terms of the vocal cast, it's very, very diverse. And Ben Kingsley does a fantastic job as Bagheera. I also love the animation of his character, how he's able to jump onto branches that are really, really high off the ground, and his eyes were so expressive and gorgeous, like those greenish yellow glowing cat eyes that are just, at first you think are so terrifying because he's this cat that could easily rip apart this human, but he's so lovable and so kind. He's very upper crusty and very proper, but he does have a soft spot for Mowgli, which I really, really enjoyed about his character. And also he has two amazing battle sequences with Shere Khan, which was pretty breathtaking to watch. Next up, we got Bill Murray as Baloo. What a great character for him. So fantastic, so freaking funny. I didn't like his character when he first came on screen, and he was kind of like manipulative to Mowgli, trying to just use him to get this honeycomb, which is on top of a cliff that Baloo can't reach. But then after a while, he develops genuine feelings and a deep friendship for him. And it's so nice to see that relationship happen between the two of you. And spoiler alert, Bill Murray sings in this movie. Yes, Bare Necessities is in this movie. Go see it for that reason alone. I thought it was incredible. Now we've got our antagonist, Idris Elba as Shere Khan. What a great job. The character of him, the physical tiger that was created using, once again, using computers, so incredible. And how he actually has a genuine reason to want to get rid of Mowgli because he has a bad experience with humans. I mean, he has this huge nasty scar across his face because he was burned by Mowgli's father. He killed him, but he did severely burn his face, and that's why he ran away and didn't eat Mowgli when he was a baby. And then, of course, Bagheera found him and then brought him to the wolves. But Shere Khan wants to get rid of Mowgli because A, he hates man, and B, he wants revenge. And I genuinely felt a sense of terror about this character. Shere Khan actually kills multiple times in this movie, and there is a moment where after all of the alpha male wolves have been killed by Shere Khan and Lupita Nyong'o's character, Raksha, I think that's how you pronounce her character's name, and only her and her pups are there, Shere Khan is on top of this rock and he has all of her pups like around his paws, and she calls them into the den and he puts his paw in front of one of them and you're like, oh my gosh, is he actually going to kill this puppy? And then he just goes whoop, and then the wolf pup trots away. But you genuinely felt a sense of terror with this character, and his voice was so rich and just so nuanced, and it was fantastic. So incredible with his line delivery. So incredible. I don't know what more to say about it. Okay. Lupita Nyong'o as, once again, Raksha, excuse me. These animal character names are very difficult to pronounce, but she did such a great job. I love Lupita Nyong'o. I adored her in Star Wars The Force Awakens, and I thought she was incredible in 12 Years a Slave, completely deserving of her Academy Award. That woman is so phenomenal, and I just can't wait to see where her career goes forward from here. I mean, just such an incredible performer, and her voice so warm, so welcoming, so motherly, and just so like lovable. And I'm so glad that the movie ends differently than the animated film, where Mowgli returns to the wolf pack after he kills Shere Khan, or doesn't kill him, but Shere Khan dies basically. There's this huge scene at the end of the movie where there's fire around the jungle, and Mowgli tricks him into going onto this branch, which falls and cracks and breaks, and Shere Khan dies. And so Mowgli returns to the wolf pack. So I'm glad that Lupita Nyong'o's character was more in the movie than the mother wolf in the animated film. So I loved it. And our other female cast member, Scarlett Johansson as Kaa, she's only in one scene. Excuse me. She's only in one scene in this movie, but completely delivers it. So incredible. Her character, in my opinion, was the best in terms of the visual technicality of the way that they created her character. It's so interesting. Mowgli gets separated from Bagheera and gets lost in this dark, misty part of the jungle. And he's walking along and he steps on something and he picks up this giant shedded snake skin. And immediately you know in the back of your mind, the snake is coming. Kaa is coming. And then when he's on top of this tree branch, you can hear Scarlett's voice. And you see in the corner of the frame, you have these like a piece of her body wrapped around a branch here, and a piece of her body wrapped around here. Like they're on different opposite ends of the frame. And you realize that she's not this tiny snake. She's huge. She's taking up a whole tree worth of space. And when her character finally appeared, her head finally appeared, so haunting. Her voice is haunting. Her character realization, gorgeous. The eyes, really, really hypnotizing. So incredible. And then, of course, after she hypnotizes Mowgli, she has him wrapped around part of her, and her mouth opens really wide to try to eat him. And then, of course, Baloo comes in and kills Kaa and saves Mowgli. But Scarlett Johansson was incredible. Once again, forgive me for butchering this name, Gennaro, oh my gosh, I'll just put it right here. I mentioned him earlier. He plays Aquila, who is the alpha male wolf, and he did a good job. His character's kind of small. He unfortunately got killed by Shere Khan, and it was, but his voice was great. For the snippets of the scenes that he was in, he did a very good job. I loved him from Once Upon a Time, where he plays like a genie and then gets turned into the magic mirror for the queen. Okay. Now we have reached the final person that I want to talk about. I really, really hate to say this, but this was the worst performance in this movie by far. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Christopher Walken as King Louis. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Everything about his character was awful. From the look, from the vocal performance, the fact that he sings in this movie, absolutely awful. Completely took me out of the film, made me so uncomfortable physically when watching his character. And it was awful. He was so terrible. And I wish I could say that this movie could have done completely without his character, but unfortunately King Louis reveals a very key plot point, that Aquila has been killed by Shere Khan. He reveals that to Mowgli, and that's what starts Mowgli on his journey in the third act to trying to find Shere Khan and kill him, basically. But Christopher Walken, worst performance in the movie. That's why I didn't give this movie a solid A. His performance was so terrible. And then in the after credit sequence, just why? Why are you making Christopher Walken sing more? If we learned anything from Peter Pan Live, it's that Christopher Walken cannot sing. The one thing I will say that I was really, really happy, and I'm so sorry to say this, when his character died, I honestly felt a sense of relief. Like, phew, he's gone. We won't see him anymore. He gets crushed by the temple and just dead. And I was so relieved when his character died, because I'm just like, this is so awful. It reminded me of the big lipped alligator scene in All Dogs Go to Heaven. Lindsay Ellis, who was formerly the nostalgia chick, coined it the big lipped alligator moment, which is a scene which has no context in the film, comes right out of nowhere, completely clashes with the tone, and after the scene, no one talks about it ever again, and it has little to no bearing on the plot. I felt like that was King Louis's scene in this movie. It was just, it was terrible. So aside from Christopher Walken and the obvious fake CGI throughout the whole movie, The Jungle Book is a really good film. And if you have a chance to see it in theaters in 3D, go see it in 3D. It's absolutely completely worth it. It's a good movie. It's really good. And it makes me want more from Disney in their live action fairy tale genre. I mean, I'm not all that looking forward to the BFG or Pete's Dragon, but I'm really, really excited for Beauty and the Beast. And The Jungle Book is a very good movie. I will add it to my DVD collection, and it will be on my shelf here with all of my other Disney movies, but it was very good. Oh, and the ending. Mowgli does not go to the Man Village after Shere Khan dies. In the animated film, he does. In this movie, he stays in the jungle with everybody, with Bagheera and Baloo and Raksha, and he stays in the jungle, and I really, really love that about his character. And the resolution that happens, which also sets us up for Jungle Book 2, which has been greenlit. It's very exciting that we are getting a sequel to Jon Favreau's beautiful live-action fairy tale remake of The Jungle Book. So thank you so much for watching this review. If you've seen the movie, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment down below what you thought of the movie. You can follow me on my other YouTube channel, which is GreatMovieFan. All the links are in the video description for that channel as well. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.